Hello, I'm Ted Trussell Porter. I'm standing in front of a house on Apple Street in New Albany, Mississippi that I designed a few years ago, and we'll take a tour of it. So I like the fact that the street front of this house to me just says house, but it says it in a kind of unique and original way. There's the basic gable, and that's just stretching all the way back through the depth of the lot, holding all the inside. There's the one big window, which is really pronounced. It's like an old-fashioned picture window, but it's located so that it's a little more private. And once again, because it's on the north side of the house, it brings in ambient light, not such harshly glaring southern light or western light. And then there's the recess for the front door, which again opens into the screen porch, not into the house proper yet. So there's a series of basic screens that you go through before you get into the main part of the house. And then the small garage helps define and give privacy and fence in the side garden of the house. And as when I was first thinking about this lot, I was thinking about 19th and 18th century houses in Charleston, South Carolina that have side porches. And those houses have a much more classical architectural vocabulary, but the side porch idea is the same for this house as it is for those houses. And how many, like 3 or 4 years each one?
Every 3 or 4 years. I never worked. So when I started working here, I was like, I'm doing this practice every day. Yeah, but anyway, it's a good thing. Yeah, every couple of years. John was the best.
So I'm standing on the screen porch, which I love, and it's also the entry porch as well. This door goes out to the side garden. To the left is to my left is the front door going into the house. And then on axis is this window from the kitchen. And then up above are windows from the upper area, the bedroom and the sitting room upstairs. I like this idea that there's a series or a sequence of procession getting into this house. So from the street, you've got this kind of driveway parking area. Then you've got a little bitty covered front porch outside, completely outside. Then you've got this screen porch, which is another layer of space you go through. And then you go through the front door into the house itself. So it's not just the front door opening into the living room. There's a whole pathway that you take to get into this house. So the little guest house we built a little later after building the main house helped close off the third side or the fourth side of this courtyard-like garden that's on the side, the east side of the house. So the garden gets eastern light and then southern light. And it's a nice private area to use, even in the middle of the downtown. Okay, so you've come down the screen porch and under the front door, and the screen porch is high ceilinged, but the entrance goes back to a kind of normal ceiling with the dining table and the entry area. And then that opens into this large living room with the big window out on the street, which is raised up pretty high. And it's also facing north, so it's mostly ambient light. So it's not, bleaching the furniture and the artwork, but giving this nice glow. The large windows on the east side open onto the screen porch, and the idea is that you could raise those, leave them open, and the screen porch is protecting you from bugs. You could also open these windows, these high up windows on this side, near the dining table, to get some cross ventilation if you had the front door open. So a lot of the time of the year, you wouldn't necessarily need air conditioning or heating. Other things, the finish in this house, in all these living rooms, is cypress that we got from the Mississippi Delta. It was brought in. A friend of ours was a lumberman, and then it was stained this sort of, or bleached this white. And then all the ceilings are plywood that's also been bleached. So then at this end of this room, there's a loft space above, over the dining table and the entrance area. You could open these double front doors and have the screen door closed and have this all flowing one space into the other. I intended that the stairway would be a rather gracious tread to riser ratio, so it's easy to get up and down. And at the top of the stairs, facing south, is a very large window, so it helps bring some natural light into the core of the house. To the left is the kitchen, which, as I mentioned outside, looks back onto the screen porch, so the owner can see who's coming into the house. And to the right is, laundry room, powder room, some storage. And then in the distance is the primary bedroom suite on the ground floor. Just a little design detail that the front doors were this rich mahogany, and we got another mahogany board and put it here so that there's a little pass through from the kitchen if you want, or a place to put flowers or your mail or whatever when you come in. So I always like to try to have a kitchen facing east. That's a personal preference, so that you can have an eastern window, and it's a good way to wake up in the morning and get your coffee and greet the day. So there's a big window over the sink looking out to the garden, and this beautiful Japanese magnolia that's in bloom now. And then there's the other window that looks back onto the screen porch. You could even pass food or drinks through the window too if you wanted. So the upstairs of the house uh, basically runs the full length, except that we've got this screen wall overlooking the living room, and these shutters can be closed, so you could have more privacy if you wanted it. There are areas where you can sit. There's a bathroom, there's a bar, so this can be treated as a separate suite or almost apartment-like space. There's some big storage units. But it's important that there's a lot of light up here too. And as the current owner just mentioned, she feels like one part of this is being in a tree house.